Hello, happy CF week. That is Cystic Fibrosis Awareness Week for those who don't know, a condition that I have. Hello to everybody else with CF. I hope that you are staying safe. I hope that you are keeping well. I hope that you are coping okay with shielding and it's not taking too much of a toll on your mental health. I hope that you're taking time out to look after your mental health, which is really important. In some ways it's not been too much of an adjustment for us because people with CF are not allowed to meet in person, and we're quite used to isolation and quarantine and being very cautious of catching bugs and stuff like that. So in some ways the rest of the public are getting a little bit of an excuse me a little bit of an insight into what it's like to live with CF in some ways, which is quite interesting. So for CF week, I thought I would do something for other people with CF this year. First and foremost, I might do a couple of other bits, but I thought I would share my CF life hacks. So little bits and pieces I have around the house, little things I do to try and make life easier, to make treatments more streamlined and stuff like that. I really hope that it's helpful to some people. Hope there's someone out there who can learn from it, so it might make someone else's life easier. And I'd really love for you to share your CF life hacks with me in the comments as well. There might be something in there I can take on board and other people can learn from, and just be nice to all help each other out and share our knowledge. So yes, that is it. Secondly, I might do a bit of singing. My lung function's not its best at the moment, it's not its worst, but I need to kick up the bum to do some, so I thought maybe I could do a Facebook Live maybe with a donation link or something like that, and do a bit of virtual busking. If you think that's a good idea, let me know. If there's a song you want to sponsor or a request you have for me to sing, let me know. I'll try and learn it. I might do it once or twice throughout the week. I have to be in the right headspace to sing, so it depends on my mood. I'm not making any promises, but if you guys think it's a good idea, it's something I'll definitely try to do. And then thirdly, Friday, don't forget, is CF Yelfu Day, and everyone needs to wear yellow and send their text to donation to the CF Trust, so keep an eye out for that. Okay, so let's start with my first life hack. Okay, so first of all is that I don't like to have physical reminders of CF around the house, such as pill pots, needles, stuff, medical stuff on show. It's a total personal choice. It's just, for me, I know I have a CF. I feel it in my body every day, and I don't like to have physical reminders around of it. That's just me. There's no judgment on anybody who does have their stuff kind of on show. It's totally, as I say, a personal choice. So underneath these flowers here, so if I'm snacking on the sofa, I will just pick these up, and I've got a little stash here of insulin, needles, motilium, and a few different pots, whoops, upside down, pots of Creon that I've just spilled everywhere. And then I have a little sharp spin down there behind the sofa. Talking of hiding meds, I just recently bought this thing. The company's called Pop Socket. You've probably seen these things that, you can hold your phone. It is, you put them on your phone case. They help you hold your phone. You can use them as a stand, etc. But I saw they did one that had a little stash section in it, which I thought would be brilliant for putting some Creon in. So you can fit about a 5 in there, which is about enough for a decent meal. For me, anyway. I suppose it depends on your pancreatic insufficiency levels, but for me that's quite a decent meal. And I just thought, if you ever forget to fill your handbag or your pockets or whatever with your crayon pot, you'd have enough there in the back of your phone for a few snacks or a meal. So yeah, I thought that was brilliant. So that's a fairly new one that I'm quite excited about for when I go back into the real world. And perhaps PopSocket might consider doing a yellow one for CF for CF week next year, and maybe giving a percentage to CF Trust. Just saying, guys, something to think about. My second hack is using an egg cooker to clean your nebulizer parts in between uses. Now, I still do the weekly boil, but this has been amazing for in between uses. You just take your neb apart. You can throw away your used, meds down the sink. This has not been used. This is clean. I'm just doing this to show you. And you fill this little pot up with water. You pour it in. You turn it on. About 10 minutes, it's all done. You can buy fancy ones that automatically turn themselves off, but this is quite a cheap one, and it does a bit of an annoying beep, but it's green, so it matches my kitchen, so that's more important to me. It's amazing for travelling. The nurses in hotels, the maids in hotels probably think you're a bit mad and that you love eggs, but oh well. Yeah, so it's been very useful. So this is like a hack 2.5 because it's not a full one, but just while I'm on the subject of cleaning your nebulizer or boiling your nebulizer parts, if you use tap water when you boil your neb and you find like a powdery substance on your nebulizer afterwards, it's the hard water in your area. I think it's calcium. If you just pop a little capful of distilled vinegar into it, that just stops that, and it's brilliant. And another thing is surgical spirit's really good for just wiping over the mouthpiece, if you just want a really quick wash of the mouthpiece, or if you've had like your inhaler in your pocket or your handbag and you're worried it's a bit dirty, it's very good for cleaning. I know that people who vape use it, or people that use other naughty smoking paraphernalia use surgical spirit or rubbing alcohol, if you're in the US, to clean it with. So my third hack is organising your pills. I've only had this thing for about 3 months, so it's still a bit of a novelty, but I think it's brilliant. So I'm not that I have anywhere to go at the moment because we've been in lockdown, but when I do have to get up in the morning in the future, I'm sure it's going to save me so much time, because I used to get up, try and count my pills out, still be half asleep, forget what I'd taken, forget what I hadn't taken, get myself in a bit of a muddle, kind of just do it all in a daze. Whereas this, I do a month's worth, all counted out, which also helps me keep on track of when I need to reorder stuff as well. So it's helped in that way too. You can put your day's pills there at the front, and when you finish them, you just turn it upside down, so it's got a colour each side there. It's quite big. I know we have to take a lot of pills and it's quite hard to fit everything in, but you can see there it's fit quite a lot in that one little pot, so it's quite a good size. If anybody wants to buy it, I'll DM me, I'll share the link with you. And I also bought this little travel one for, you know, if you ever go and stay at someone's houses, there's a week's worth in there. And there's a lovely little vintage case as well, which I thought was quite cute. So that is hack number 3. So my fourth hack is a couple of investments. If you are somebody who suffers with sinus problems like I do, then it is worth it. It's a couple of items that were quite expensive, but I mean, I am sick to death of sinus issues. I stopped counting how many surgeries I've had on my sinuses when I ran out of fingers to count it on. And I know that when my sinuses get bad, it drips down to my chest and my chest gets bad, and it's just a vicious circle, and it's really frustrating. So It's something I really try to keep on top of. Sorry if you heard that, that was just a train going past. So I used to do my sinus defibrillator squeezy bottles, but now I've got this little sinus pulse machine, and it's very good. And I keep my nasal steroid spray just behind it so I don't forget to take it. If you have the drops, you can put them in with a solution, my surgeon told me, and it helps get around. I'm doing facial motions around my head like you can see me. It helps get around the sinuses better than just dropping it in your nose. So there's a little tip for you if you have the drops. The water I put into the sinus machine, I have invested in a water distiller. This is brilliant. It was expensive. It wasn't, you know, I mean, it depends on your situation, I suppose, but I bought this when I was living with my mum and dad, so I didn't have a mortgage to pay like I do now. But I'm so glad I did, because bear with me, because it's hard to do this with one hand. Oh, hold on. I'm trying to get the lid off. I'm too weak. Okay, so this is what's left behind after you've distilled tap water. At my mum and dad's, it used to be brown, but here at least it's white. This is in our tap water, guys. And I think it's calcium. And I think it's part of the reason I've suffered with kidney stones so badly, because at my annual review every year I would go and there'd be another kidney stone and another kidney stone, and they were building up. But since I've had this, I've passed them and they've not kind of reformed. So not only has it been good for the kidney stone issue, it's the best thing to do the nasal douche with. It's good for cleaning the nebs in, and my kettle is nice and doesn't have any of that like hard water in it either. So highly recommend that. Just a little hack 4.5 while I'm on the topic of sinuses. If you are buying the solution to do your nasal douche with, please don't. It's so expensive. It is just half bicarbonate of soda, half table salt. That's all you need. That's all it is. Please don't waste your money. I read online an American doctor who recommended putting a teaspoonful of baby shampoo in the solution as well. It sounds mad. It's not going to hurt, I promise. Give it a go. It really helps to break down the mucus. Don't take my word for it. Read some articles online. See what you think. And also, another thing I take, and it's a little bit alternative medicine-y, but I think it's called bromelain. It's meant to reduce inflammation in your sinuses. I think it works. I first tried taking it, and when I ran out, I really felt the difference, so I've continued taking it. Again, you know, read some articles online, read the research, see what you think. If you're as desperate as I am to sort out your sinus problems, then give it a go. And then while I'm on the topic of supplements that I take that aren't prescribed, I also take some like they're drugs. I do some probiotics. I also take some probiotics, which I think helps with bloating, because CF belly is another thing I suffer from really badly, and I quite often look pregnant. And I've been offered seats on the tube and all sorts. So anything I can take that might help me with that, then I'm willing to give it a try. Okay guys, lastly is a COVID-19 special CF hacks. A couple of adjustments that I've made to my life since the outbreak. And maybe they'll help you. Firstly, I have this sign on my door, which means that I don't feel the need to open the door and have to face somebody when some parcels arrive. I also have this little box out here, especially for parcels, so that I could just pick it up, spray it down, and take me Amazon packages out or whatever I've ordered online. And hello baby, and feel safe. It's okay. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. You're the best boy. Yeah. And I keep this box here hidden behind the curtains because, you know, I don't want anything on show that might show that I'm a sick person. I'm just being silly. I'm not ashamed at all of the fact that I have CF. I'm just a neat freak. I keep this box here of sterile gloves and some water mixed with Zoflora. You can also use Milton sterilising fluid. So much cheaper than buying antibac spray, guys, and it lasts ages. So there's a little money saving tip for you there. I also keep some antibac wipes there by the front door, and all my masks are here for when I go out and walk the dog. Now, I don't know about you, but I do not want to sing Happy Birthday or God Save the Queen every time I wash my hands. And I wash my hands and then I get really paranoid that it hasn't been 20 seconds. So I bought this little sand timer online. It came as a set, but this is one of them and it's a 30-second one. So I just make sure I've washed my hands for 30 seconds. And it just puts my mind at ease. And then also I keep a little pot of moisturiser next to the soap just because my hands have aged about 10 years since this happened from the amount of washing. The set of sand timers also are really handy for cooking, but also I use the 5-minute one for when I'm doing physio or autogenic drainage. Just because I find it just a little bit nicer than having an alarm go off. I just kind of pop the telly on and pop it in front of me and do my physio, and when it's done, and I've been in that position for 5 minutes. So that's just another little thing I do that I think makes life easier. So that was it. That was my CF life hacks. A little bit longer than I expected. I rambled on a bit, so apologies about that. If you're still with me, thanks. Going into the real world, 2 other things came to mind. I always keep these glucose tabs in my dog walking bag, which I keep by the front door, because I have CF-related diabetes. If I am on a long dog walk, I get carried away sometimes. I can walk for hours and hours in the countryside. Sometimes my sugar drops, so it's always good to keep these with me. And then in the summer, this little pot of salt, because you know if you have CF how much salt we lose and how much we crave salt. I picked this up at Borough Market. It originally had the posh kind of salt flakes in it, but I've just filled it with table salt now since they ran out. And kind of handy for adding to meals when you're in a restaurant and stuff and you're just craving the salt, because we're just odd like that, aren't we? So yeah, I hope that this has been helpful. I hope I haven't rambled on for too long. And as I said at the beginning, let me know if you have any CF hacks that you would share with me. I'd very much appreciate it, and I'd be really interested to learn how everybody else kind of deals with all the bits and pieces that we have to take and the things we have to do. And I just think it would be nice to share ideas. So have a great CF week. Thanks for watching and take care. Bye.